Hello, family. Oh, hold that. Hello, family. Welcome to another episode of Somos Más English. Much love. I know my background looks different. I'm traveling. I'm on vacation, but I couldn't. I couldn't let this Monday pass without sharing with you guys some news about Cuba. So first of all, please share, and like the stream. We're gonna talk about the San Isidro Movement and what they're going through at the moment. Share. Much appreciated, guys. We'll get started in 3 minutes. Please share. Yeah, it's pretty crazy right now what's going on in Havana. I'm here with family, for Thanksgiving. But justice never sleeps, man, and we gotta keep fighting. So share. Weird. Okay. So all right, let's get going, guys. Welcome. 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 So tonight's show is gonna be about the San Isidro Movement. There we go. It's a group of artists in Cuba that are opposed to the draconian and just dictatorial prohibitions on free speech in Cuba, right? Recently, they got into trouble because of their posture, and one of the friends, one of the participants, one of the members got arrested. You know, arrested meaning that he disappeared. The police just took him, right? For no reason. They're saying that it's because of desacato, which means resisting arrest before being arrested. So basically insulting a police officer or something. No violence or anything, right? And they just took the guy, Denis Solis. So the group San Isidro movement is on a Honda strike, on a third strike. Some people have come off because they were not doing well. Others are still continuing the strike. Some people went to protest in a central park in Havana, but the security forces and the greetings, Jose. The security forces and plainclothes policemen, and then of course a little group of like these, if you can imagine, sort of like a Cuban Antifa. There's always a group of people that collaborate with the government, and they go and they harass people, and they were harassing one of the activists. Then they harassed the actual reporters, international reporters. They punched a guy, a reporter. They had to leave. And I'm gonna read right now a Reuters article so that you guys understand what we're talking about here. One moment, please. Yeah, Amnesty International is talking about it. Washington Post is talking about it. It's pretty wild. And this goes on, I mean, all the time, really. Right now we have more visibility, thankfully, because of the internet and the internet access that the government has allowed in the island. I guess they made a calculation about making more money and having us send money through the internet and buy and making money off of the internet, the actual internet that people use in Cuba, right? We are the ones that pay for it from here, outside of Cuba. So they said, oh, well, um, let us, open up the internet. Cuban people, they're not going to do anything else except check Facebook and Instagram and do the same things that um, indolent people do everywhere else that have no clue about the world, don't care about anything else, or maybe they're too scared to actually, put their foot down, stand up, stand for something. Oh, now you have a little bit more. I don't want to do that little bit more, that those crumbs that you've given me. I'll take that. It's like welfare, right? You don't want to lose your welfare. Forget about standing up for yourself. Forget about, I don't know, speaking out against, let's say, the media over here, and then you lose your job, or you speak out against what is it now, the trans, or you speak out against feminism or something. Well, over here people are scared to do that too, right? The silent majority. Well, in Cuba it's the same way. Maybe you get a little more access to some money. Maybe you get just another pound of meat. And they actually do give people like chickens to go protest against the protesters. It's crazy. Of course, I'm in Miami, so I gotta have my little Cuban coffee. Mm. All right. Sorry about that. Here we go. So I'm going to share with you the article, guys, so that we can read it together. I don't know if you can read it. Let me see. Okay, that's too small. Oh, God. Oh, that's weird. I'll read it. Reuters, in Havana. Pro-government mob sets upon protesters in Havana. More than 100 pro-government civilians on Sunday mobbed a handful of protesters who showed up at Havana Central Park to support a group of dissidents on a hunger strike, while security forces watched on, according to Reuters eyewitness. Police detained more than a dozen people for attempting to protest, while security forces prevented around a dozen more from leaving their homes in the first place, according to exile rights group Cubalex. The Reuters eyewitness saw police arrest at least one young man after a mob chased him down as he ran across the park waving a sign, pushing and shoving him into a nearby building. The mob surrounded, chased, pushed, and punched another young man and woman, with police and other security personnel doing little, if anything, to stop them. Right, because right now, because they're being watched, so what they do is they get these mobs to do their dirty work for them, right? So that way the UN or the European Union doesn't like withdraw funds or grants or breaks the trade agreements that they have. Of course, remember that Cuba is also in the Human Rights Council. Yes. The rebel then turned on credentialed foreign journalists, filming the story, pushing, shoving, and punching one cameraman 4 or 5 times in the body. Body shot. Cubans are good boxers. The protest had been called in support of a group of activists who say they have gone on a hunger strike to protest authorities' attempts to prevent them from publicly demonstrating against the imprisonment of a fellow member on charges of contempt. Right. How can you be in contempt if you're not in court? Like, imagine if a police just charged you for contempt and then took you to jail because you said you called them a pig. That's what happened. Reuters made unavailable Reuters was unable to independently verify the claims and could not access their headquarters due to security forces blocking off the street. So yeah. So then what they've done is that they won't let anyone go to the place where the people are conducting their hunger strike, like their house or their place of meeting, their meeting place. So they can do whatever they want. I mean, they've thrown bottles at them. They've broken their doors. I mean, they've gone in and beaten them up in their house. One state official said access was restricted due to a coronavirus outbreak. Right. A number of international human rights organizations, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, have denounced authorities' treatment of the activists who have had run-ins with the state in several years as they protest curbs on freedom of speech. The Cuban government dismisses dissidents as mercenaries seeking to destabilize the country and did not reply to requests for comment. Right, mercenaries seeking to destabilize the country. Of course. So let me go ahead and pull up the actual San Isidro Movement's page. No, one moment. So you guys can see. Okay. Oh my, now Chrome is acting weird. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Can you hear me? I'm gonna put the link also on the chat. Here we go. One moment, please. Okay. Hello. All right, so here I'm going to share some of the pictures from the Movimiento San Isidro. So this is where they are in their protest. It's a very humble place. I mean, as you can see, the police and the plainclothes policemen have, really battered their door. There's also another. Hold on. Let me see if I can get. There's a video that they've posted. Let's get out of here. One moment, please. Wow. So, Iskra, are you here? Oh, here we go. Hi, Iskra. You're muted right now. You can speak while I look for the video.
Okay. Hi, everybody. How is everybody doing? Can you hear me? Okay. Because we are on the road, and I might lose signal every once in a while. But I wanted to come in, at least be able to be in here with you guys a little bit. We were down in Florida. We've been down there for 4 days, and we were actually in Fort Pierce when they called for us to get together for the demonstration on Sunday and at 3 o'clock. So we made it to the demonstration last Sunday in order for us to be there in solitary for the movement of San Isidro. It has been over 48 hours. These young people are still at it. There are a total of 4 men that are on hunger and thirst strike, and there are a total of 5 women, I believe, or 5 other people that, and I have the list here, and I'll send it so we can look at it. There are a number of other people that are just on hunger strike. So it's been a total of 48 hours. We just got some feedback that the Catholic churches have not, the government, the Cuban government has not let the Catholic churches go in. They have not let the Red Cross go in. This is serious. And I am right here and right now, I am denouncing that if something is to happen to any of these young people, any of their lives, this will count as murder under the Cuban government. And I want this to be internationally known that they are killing these young people because all they are requesting is that they let go of another young person that's in jail for absolutely no reason. This gentleman did the young person that's in jail that they are requesting for his freedom. They came into his home. They invaded his home, and all he did was film the invasion. So I am denouncing internationally that if something was to happen to any one of these 13 people that are in this household right now, holding a hunger and thirst strike, it is completely and positively on the Cuban government. Because they are not willing to let anyone go in. They are not willing to let anyone help. I am appalled by everything that's happening. I have no words. We have been trying to. It's been our anniversary. It's been our wedding anniversary, and we've been trying to have a good time, but it's been really hard for us. We haven't slept in days, honestly, thinking about what's happening over there. It is hard to concentrate when you know there are lives at stakes, and these are young lives. These kids are not doing anything more than what's right and what we all want as Cubans. All we want is a free country. And they are standing up for the rest of us, and they're standing up for those that just aren't willing to stand up. They're standing up for those that left because we didn't have the courage to stand up. They're standing up for those that can't stand up because the government doesn't let them. They're standing up for those old people that are unable to speak up. They're standing up for those children that have nothing to eat. They're standing up for all those political prisoners that don't have a voice. They're standing up for all of us, and we need to stand with them. I'm sorry. I don't want to get. It's just that you have a video that you wanted to share again.
Hi guys, yes. So here goes the video. One moment. This is when they're trying to break into their house. Hold on. I want to put the sound on this. Share audio. Here we go.
Mío, dos velas delante de mí, que estoy filmando eso. Caballero, cierren eso ahí. Oye, mira, cojan algo. Cojan cuidado. ¿Dónde está la policía? ¿Dónde está la policía? ¿Dónde está la policía?
Invasión de domicilio, míralo ahí, invasión de domicilio, me voy a acusar, mira a mí, está mirando a mí, ¿no? ¡Cuidado! ¡Policía!
Nos acaban de agredir.
¡Cobardes, que son unos cobardes! Yo no puedo creer que ustedes hayan hecho eso. Es que eso es lo que ustedes quieren hacer. Eso es lo que ustedes defienden. Ese es el país que ustedes defienden, de verdad. Deberían las vergüenzas, asesinos, hijos de puta.
A ese lo mandaron los cabrones estos. Ustedes lo mandaron, cabrones. Déjame un momentico que yo estoy en directo. Déjame un momento que estoy en directo.
Venga, Havana.
No salgas más, Liliana.
Mira, le sacaron sangre. Ustedes lo mandaron, cabrones. Lo mandaron ustedes, chivatones de mierda.
Yo estoy en directo.
Represores.
Firma aquí, Liliana, que mira lo que le hicieron a mi hermano.
Yeah, you know, they get these thugs, like crazy people, alcoholics, whoever, to attack dissidents or people that don't agree with the dictatorship, you know? It's okay, she's mute. So, you know,
I'm
no,
sorry.
that's fine, that's okay, that's okay.
Go ahead.
And these tactics, like that's why I wanted to do this in English, because these tactics are very similar to what we're seeing, you know, outside of Cuba, right? In Europe and here in the United States, in Chile, even, these mobs of people, calling the people from the same country turning on each other. And this is all, of course, pushed by the socialists, and frankly spearheaded and with the planning of the Cuban government. This is not just a Cuban problem. That's why we're doing this in English, to warn you, to let you know that what happens in Cuba doesn't stay in Cuba, unfortunately. All right?
That's right. And
The-
one of the things we need to tell the people that family members and even neighbors around the area have tried to go in to the household to take them food, to take them some water, to take them some, just things for them to hold up. At least those that are not on the, because there are some that are not on a complete hunger strike, and they won't let them through. So the police is holding people back from getting in. Not even the Red Cross can get in. This is serious. This is not. They're killing them. They're just killing them, and I'm very upset about all of this. I'm just so upset. I know that there are many people on the chat, and we want to hear your opinions. But I also want to intervene with the international community, because this is not just, I'm hearing all these the challenge that's going around. This is not a joke.
You say.
This is not a joke. This is serious stuff. I'm hearing people saying on Facebook that they're doing, have you heard of this, Riquet? Yeah.
No, what are they doing?
There's a Movimiento San Isidro challenge going around.
Uh-huh.
So people are playing games with this. If you haven't, look it up. It's ridiculous. They're like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to start a hungry strike so that, Trump doesn't give back the United States to Biden. These stuff like that. There's some sort of,
I get it. They're trying to minimize it. They're trying to make fun of it, to kind of like, it's a communist tactic.
Right.
That's how they do it.
Another communist tactic. And you're playing with people's lives. This is not a joke.
Man, that's what that's what when I say. I mean, there has to come a point from our side where you must defend yourself, okay? Because we've had enough martyrs, and I think it's time to have some heroes, okay?
Yes, and these are our heroes. These kids are our heroes. They're doing what none of us have been able to do.
Yeah.
And we need to stand by them. And
we can't let this happen to them, guys, honestly. I'm going to read another article. This is an independent Cuban reporter that writes sometimes for the Washington Post, and this is what he wrote. One moment, let me share. A group of Cuban artists is daring to live in democracy. Their protest could end in tragedy. So this is Denis Solis right here. That is the young man that has been arrested for being for insulting the police officer, right? The author is Carlos Manuel, written yesterday. On November 6th, Denis Solis, a young and rebellious Cuban rapper, dared to call the police officer who broke into his house to harass him a chicken in uniform. He filmed the episode with his cell phone and posted the video on social media. Like people do in America all the time. Soon after, during a summary trial without a defense lawyer, summary trial meaning that you get arrested today, your trial was tomorrow, and then, well, that's the end, without a lawyer. He was sentenced to 8 months of imprisonment for contempt, right? Usually, like I said, contempt of court You have to be in a courtroom with a lawyer and then you keep speaking out of turn and then the judge says you are in contempt. No. He was in contempt because he called a police officer that broke into his house a chicken and filmed it. In Cuba, these frequent outrages used to happen without too much of a scandal. The repressive machinery of the state was capable of disguising its constant episodes of injustice quite effectively. But that cloak, after years of resistance from various political opposition groups, seems to have finally torn off, never to be mended again. Solis is part of the San Isidro Movement, SIM, and its members launched an impressive campaign of solidarity for his release, which they have already reinvented several times in little more than a week. The SIM is an organization based in Old Havana, coordinated by the artist Luis Manuel Otero Alcántara, who has also been detained and harassed by the authorities over his performances and protests, and whose ecumenical vocation and amphibious character make the group difficult to classify. It brings together ghetto rappers, design professors, dissident poets, art specialists, scientists, and regular citizens. The Cuban forces of law and order are at particular disadvantage to understand what the group is about, and that is why they act more and more unhinged, visibly exhausted. After the arrest of Solis, whose whereabouts were unknown, members of the SIM gathered in front of the police station and demanded answers. That day, the police locked them all up, put them in different cells around the city, and close to midnight released them. This happened a couple more times, but each time more members were willing to join in. Because there was no response from the police beyond the routine arrest, Otero slept on a bench outside the station and said he would not leave until he heard from Solis. Other colleagues like Anameli Ramos did the same. Now the SIM has become a red-hot spot on the anemic map of Cuban civic temperature. Many curious people in the neighborhood, as if they were stunned by the spectacle of a crackling fire, look at them from afar. Sad. Because they could get burned, but they cannot stop looking. Both the danger that the members represent and the seduction they inspire can be explained by the fact that they are perhaps the only Cuban on the island today who are living in a democracy, exotic animals that no one has seen alive in the country in 60 years. San Isidro Movement's deceiving strategies make it an almost untraceable collective even for the media that pretends to cover the group's actions in detail. One has the feeling that the media always arrives a bit late to the events that are brewing there, as if instead of facts that we're talking about flashes, the wake of things that have already happened. In less than a blink, the movement is elsewhere. But what does it mean to live in a democracy? Probably to live as a shut-in, because the street in Cuba is a prison. On November 16, on the 501st anniversary of Havana, the poet Catherine Bisquet helped the SIM organize an event called Poetic Whisper, a sort of collective peaceful pilgrimage that would stop to read poetry at different strategic points, such as Solis's house, the corner where he was arrested, and heritage sites such as the Alameda de Paula or the convent of Santa Clara, a place that embodies the tradition of Cuban civic protest. It was a way to trace the real circus of the city, the free reconfiguration of the political territories. By rewriting the root of repression with its poetry reading, the SIM did not seek to erase or forget some arbitrary demarcations, but rather to accentuate, through a peaceful gesture, the weight of that culture of abuse in the national memory. Resistance graffiti doesn't paint anything that is not already there. It only makes visible the ghostly aura of totalitarianism. Just when the Poetic Whisper was about to take place, the popular provincial court of Havana denied Otero's request for habeas corpus on behalf of Solis, and acknowledged that the inmate was in the Valle Grande prison. In response, the group's poetic action became a sitting at the SIM headquarters, until a neighbor to whom the group had given money to buy food was intercepted by state security, which surrounded the house and confiscated her goods. That brought about a major escalation of resistance, whose end is impossible to know, but whose horrific limit, if there were no dialogue, seems to be none other than the immolation pit. Now 7 members of the group are staging a hunger strike. Their demands are no longer limited to the release of Solis, but go directly against the widespread state of poverty and sustained lack of civil liberties in the island. The San Isidro protesters seem ready to found their own country, seemingly inspired by the lines of the Sui Generis song, also written against another military regime. Si ellos son la patria, yo soy extranjero. If they are the fatherland, I am a foreigner.
Yes, they've isolated themselves, but in this isolation, from what I understood, what I have understood from them, and actually the feeling that I've been getting is they're free in their own isolation. They're basically more free than most Cubans in the rest of the island because they're free to express themselves, they're free to think for themselves, and they're free to send messages to us. They're constantly sending us messages all over the all over the internet. They're constantly on Facebook. We see them all the time come on live. So this has become something that the government doesn't like.
Iskra, on that note, I want to show them a video of Omar Ruiz Urquiola that really speaks to that feeling of, frankly, of frustration, but at the same determination, at the same a sense of peace and just human dignity and grit. I recently translated it, so I have it right here. I'll pull it up. Okay, so here we go. Let me go ahead and share that with you guys. Okay.
No sé si me están viendo. Ok, ahora me soltaron. Me soltaron porque me hicieron daño. Me hicieron daño, un caballito. Bueno, no sé si me están viendo. Ok, ahora me soltaron. Me soltaron porque me hicieron daño. Me hicieron daño, un caballito. Yo tenía mi teléfono y con tal de arrebatarme el teléfono, que es mío, que lo pagué yo con mi dinero, por eso no voy a ceder. No voy a ceder y nunca me voy a dejar arrebatar absolutamente ninguna pertenencia. Ninguna. Se me abalanzó, me arrastró, me pasó el brazo, mientras todos los otros, había un jefe gordo de la seguridad que era el que dirigía aquel circo sin licencia. Ese hombre me cogió, me pasó el brazo, yo estoy acabada de llegar, yo no he tenido valor de ver lo que me hizo ese hombre. Yo no me había dado cuenta porque la patrulla estaba oscura, pero el control en el calabozo, cuando llegué a la estación de regla, compartan por favor, cuando llegué a la estación de regla, pensó que yo estaba allí por una riña tumultuaria, iba con Luis Bryan, aunque ya me conocía la otra vez, yo me le presenté y me dijo, pero es que tiene sangre en el vestido. Yo no me había dado cuenta, o sea, la sangre es esto, la sangre es esto. Aquí está, la sangre rodó hasta ese punto, me reventó una lesión cancerosa, esa bestia, un policía de la motorizada, un caballito. Yo no he tenido valor de mirarme, ellos se dieron cuenta de que metieron la pata porque no calcularon, no sabían que yo tengo lesiones. En este momento, ayer yo tuve consulta, justamente ayer yo tuve tratamiento, me mandaron un esbirro de esto de poca monta de la seguridad del Estado, que apenas se le entiende ni lo que habla, a quererme llevar a un policlínico, que le dije que no, por supuesto que llené un documento donde los responsabilizo a todos ellos de lo que me hicieron, y yo no voy a ir a ningún policlínico de ellos, de la mano de ellos, ni mucho menos. La sangre que hay en mi cuerpo es su responsabilidad. El mundo tiene que ver lo que nos están haciendo a los cubanos que pensamos diferente. Yo no he querido mirar, sé que reventaron una de mis lesiones. En ese documento les dije que ellos me las causaron, la seguridad del Estado, los órganos represivos de la dictadura cubana, de la mano de un oficial de la policía, fue un oficial de la policía uniformado, de la policía motorizada, nosotros lo llamamos coloquialmente un caballito. Esa bestia me arrastró hasta la patrulla y esa bestia me apretó en el brazo, me hizo bastante colorado, que pasaron, y ya les digo, yo no había visto nada. Fue el oficial de control que me dijo, pero tú tienes sangre en el vestido. Sí, yo tengo sangre en el vestido. Yo tengo sangre en el vestido. Ellos hicieron que saliera sangre de mi cuerpo. Ellos hicieron que saliera sangre de mi cuerpo. Son unas bestias, son unos asesinos. Son unos asesinos. Esta gente hay que acabarlos de sacar. Con esta gente no puede haber diálogo, no puede haber administración norteamericana, demócrata o republicana. No puede haber Unión Europea que haga ningún tipo de pacto con estos asesinos. Díaz-Canel es un asesino. Díaz-Canel es un testaferro de asesinos. Díaz-Canel es nada más que la cara nueva de un régimen criminal que nos agobia a los cubanos. No somos 11 millones los que estamos agobiados, somos 15 millones. No puede haber ningún tipo de negociación con una administración norteamericana si antes no se reconoce igualdad de ciudadanía, derechos ciudadanos iguales para todos los cubanos, para todos los nacidos y los hijos de los nacidos en Cuba, que tenemos derecho a votar una constitución que sea nuestra, a leyes que nos representen. No más pactos de espaldas a los cubanos, no más pactos subterráneos, donde lo que hacen es camuflar imperialismo, tiburón grande que viene a comerse a peje chiquito y a dilapidar lo poco que nos quedan, los despojos que nos quedan, los estamos pagando con sangre. Y yo no estoy mintiendo, miren, con sangre los estamos pagando. ¿Hasta cuándo nosotros vamos a permitir esta situación? Díaz-Canel tiene que salir del poder. Díaz-Canel es un testaferro del castrismo, de Raúl Castro. Todos ellos tienen que salir del poder. ¿De qué FMC me van a hablar? ¿De qué derechos femeninos me van a hablar? ¿De qué ley integral de género me van a hablar cuando un tipo me arrastra por la calle y me revienta una lesión y saca sangre de mi cuerpo? ¿De qué manera van ellos a estar hablando en la ONU de Derechos Humanos, en el Consejo de Derechos Humanos en Ginebra, viviendo en Ginebra, que es una ciudad carísima, como todo el cuerpo diplomático cubano, viviendo en el mundo entero, dándose los lujos que este pueblo que no tiene ni agua para cargar en cubos se puede permitir? No hay medicamentos. La educación no existe, por no hablar de la instrucción. Es todo un adoctrinamiento pésimo, no hay maestros. Eso que tienen en las aulas no son maestros, no saben escribir, no piensan. Lo único que hacen es instrumentar este horror, esta falacia, esta mentira. La Iglesia Católica, yo soy una católica convencida, la Iglesia Católica es hora de que se ponga al lado del pueblo, no 5 sacerdotes. Todo el clero secular, todo el clero oficial, monjes, monjas, sacerdotes, tienen que estar al lado del pueblo cubano. Nos robaron los 5 contenedores de ayuda cuando no tenemos ni una aspirina. Nos robaron la ayuda, la están vendiendo en tiendas en dólares. Yo no gano dólares, yo no gano nada porque me botaron de trabajo, pero el que trabaja aquí no gana en dólares. O sea, entiendan y no lloren más porque ellos quitaron las Western Union, la sede de Western Union, las quitó la dictadura porque sencillamente le están robando a ustedes sus dólares que se ganan bien duro. Yo he viajado el mundo, yo sé que los cubanos afuera no son ricos. Nosotros salimos con una mano delante y con la otra detrás. Con esos pocos euros que ustedes mandan, no están sosteniendo a su familia, están sosteniendo la miseria de su familia, están perpetuando este horror. Están perpetuando que a mí me sigan desbaratando mi cuerpo, que sigan sacando sangre de mi cuerpo, que no haya medicamento, que mi hermano tenga que exponer su vida para que yo tenga medicamento, que a mi hermano le inoculen SIDA y no pasa nada, porque el mundo vira la cara, porque son muy lindas las fotos de Che y de Fidel y de Camilo cuando bajaron de la sierra y siguen comprando esa historia porque les da la gana, la siguen comprando los demócratas, la sigue comprando la izquierda mundial. Está bueno ya, y a los académicos cubanos, a mis colegas académicos cubanos de dentro y de fuera de Cuba, que son cómplices de la dictadura con su actitud mezquina, con su actitud baja, miserable, de contentarse con una beca para seguir hablando estupideces, eufemismos sobre este régimen que no es más que una dictadura. Vergüenza para ustedes, vergüenza para ustedes, para todos los académicos cubanos, para los profesionales y los intelectuales cubanos que se prestan a este horror. La sangre, este vestido yo lo voy a lavar, porque yo no soy rica. Yo no soy rica y no soy mercenaria, como me di el lujo de decírselo al subnormal ese que me mandaron. Yo no soy ninguna mercenaria. Como yo no soy rica, yo voy a lavar mi vestido, pero yo antes le voy a hacer foto. Y por eso estoy haciendo esta directa, bajándome de la patrulla. Yo tengo tremenda hambre, yo no me he bañado, yo me siento mal, yo estoy preocupada porque a Denis le fabricaron una causa. Un artista contestatario le fabricaron una causa. Lo van a acusar de no sé cuántas cosas al infeliz muchacho. ¿Saben por qué? Porque cada vez viene más gente a esta trinchera. Muchachos como él que no tienen futuro en este país. Y entonces lo que están haciendo es castigando al Denis para que los demás se acobarden y no cojan miedo, como los que estaban con nosotros en Cuba y Chacón, que se fueron y cuando vimos a ver ya no estaban al lado de nosotros. Porque eso es lo que hacen, se mantienen en el poder por miedo. Hace mucho rato que no tienen un fundamento ideológico que los mantenga en el poder. Hace mucho rato que no tienen la razón, que no tienen la verdad. La verdad está de mi lado. La verdad está en la sangre que hoy hicieron correr de mi cuerpo. Unión Europea, mira lo que están haciendo conmigo, mira lo que están haciendo con Cuba. Yo fui becaria de la Cátedra Martiana en el año 2008 en la Universidad de Zaragoza. A mí me conocen los académicos españoles. ¿Hasta cuándo? Los académicos latinoamericanos, ¿hasta cuándo van a seguir amparando este régimen de oprobio? Basta ya, esto es una dictadura vulgar, una vulgar dictadura sin fundamento ninguno. Un loco acomplejado de la infancia llevó hacia adelante una idea y ha estafado a media humanidad con esa idea y los únicos que pagamos somos nosotros. Los inditos buenos van a estar hablando del embargo y toda la bobería esa. Los inditos rebeldes somos nosotros. A mí me van a tener que matar. Como dijo el general Ochoa, cambiando el género, disparen que acá hay una mujer a pecho, a mí me van a tener que matar. Abajo Díaz-Canel, abajo Raúl Castro, abajo toda la recua de gente esa ignorante, burda, que tienen que seguir manteniendo, sosteniendo este horror porque son incapaces de trabajar, porque como profesionales son unos mediocres, porque no es posible que produzcan nada, porque ninguno tiene una carrera real, todas son ficticias. Yo me metí 20 años en un aula tragando tiza y ahí está toda la gente que yo formé. Que hablen ellos en contra mía. Los demás pueden decir lo que quieran. Que hable el que pasó con mi aula, que hable en contra mía. Que mencione alguna falla que yo haya tenido en mi trabajo. Ellos son unos degenerados. Son unos incapaces, unos incompetentes, son unos brutos. Además son extremadamente brutos. Lo que hicieron hoy conmigo no hubiera ocurrido con una seguridad del Estado de los años 80, que eran macabros iguales, pero eran profesionales, era gente inteligente, porque la gente inteligente ya no está del lado de los anormales, esto como es lógico. La gente inteligente se va de este país. La gente inteligente y loca como yo se queda en este país. Entonces lo que yo le estoy pidiendo a esos 3 millones que hay afuera, en primer lugar que reclamen sus derechos ciudadanos que los tienen, los mismos que nosotros, y que no se coman más el cake, que no lloren más por la remesa y porque si Trump quitó la remesa y porque no sé, no, la remesa ¿qué? La remesa sirve para pagar la gasolina de la Suzuki y de su normal ese. Sirve para pagar patrullas, no para comprar ambulancias. ¿Saben a cuánto están las ambulancias ya? El viaje en la ambulancia está a 25 CUC. Lo mismo que el viaje al aeropuerto. Cuando tienes un familiar y tienes que llevarlo al hospital, te mueres esperando por la ambulancia si no tienes los 25 CUC. Y eso va a subir dentro de poco. Entonces hagan el favor de mirar la realidad y de respaldarnos como es. Sí tiene que haber embargo, sí tiene que haber medidas que los pongan a ellos contra la pared y porque lo único que les interesa es el dinero y todas esas negociaciones de Obama era para ganar dinero el empresario norteamericano y ganar dinero la dictadura. Nosotros íbamos a estar exactamente en lo mismo, con un paquete de aceite, un pomo de aceite quizá y un cuarto de pollo más. Lo que tenemos que hacer es ponerlos contra la pared y hacer que tengan que negociar. Venezuela está en las últimas. Venezuela está en las últimas. Tenemos que ponerlos contra la pared porque nos van a matar aquí adentro. Yo no me voy a rendir. Yo no me voy a rendir. Yo probablemente tenga que salir a tenerme mi salud. Miren lo que ellos me han hecho ahora. Yo no quiero ni verme, yo no quiero quitarme el vestido, yo no quiero tener que bañarme, yo no quiero verme, yo no quiero ver lo que ellos han hecho, pero yo voy a aguantar, yo me voy a bañar, yo me voy a limpiar la sangre, yo me voy a echar yodo y yo voy a seguir, conmigo no van a acabar. conmigo no van a acabar, yo solamente tengo pasaporte cubano, yo voy a regresar siempre a este país, yo me voy a morir en este país. No voy a ver probablemente el final de ellos, pero Díaz-Canel, tú no te vas a morir en tu cama. Tú no te vas a tener la suerte de que tuvo Fidel Castro. Tú en tu cama no te vas a morir. Y van a pasar 5 generaciones y van a negar tu apellido. Acuérdate, 5 generaciones van a negar tu apellido. Que tengan buenas noches. Yo sé que me imagino que han sido muy solidarios. Yo no tengo tiempo ahora de ver. Muy agradecida siempre por la solidaridad. Sin ustedes del lado de allá, entonces sí estaríamos embarcados. Si ustedes supieran, cada vez se está sabiendo más todo lo que pasó la gente, los 60, los 70, los 80, académicos igual que yo, muchos se quitaron hasta la vida, estudiantes, y nadie sabía nada. Todavía es impreciso todo para buscar datos de muchas de esas personas. Ahora, gracias a ustedes, eso ya no es así. Eso ya no es así. Que viva Cuba libre, vamos a seguir. Que viva Cuba libre, y Cuba es de nosotros, de los 15 millones que casi somos, y tenemos derecho a pedir una constitución de verdad que nos represente a todos y votar esa constitución los 15 millones de cubanos, una constitución de no media ninguna ideología, una constitución para todos, incluso para la bestia que hoy me arrastró y me sacó sangre, incluso para esa bestia tiene que ser válida la constitución. Que tengan muy buenas noches. Libertad para Denis, hay que hacer bulla por el Denis, es desconocido, quieren hacer lo mismo que a Michael Osorbo, le hicieron cuando el 349, cuando todavía no sonaba lo suficiente el 349. Libertad para Denis Solis. Hasta mañana, muchísimas gracias, y que viva Cuba libre, abajo el castrismo, abajo el comunismo, abajo el socialismo, que viva Cuba libre, sin ninguna de esas ideologías funestas de por medio, que viva Cuba libre.
There you have it. Omar Ruiz Urquiola, ladies and gentlemen, what a great lady. So strong with everything that she's been through.
And she's inside the San Isidro movement with the people that are on the hunger strike. She is not on the hunger strike because she's very sick. For those of you that don't know, she's Urquiola's sister who has had cancer and still has tumors inside
Very
her body.
aggressive breast cancer.
So she is not right. So she's not allowed to be on a hunger strike. However, she is in care of the people there, and she is in solidarity with them. So she is inside the movement with them. That's right. So I don't know if do we have anyone that wants to.
Let me put
join
the
us
link
tonight
again.
to talk about this.
Here
topic?
goes. In the meantime, while people join us, I'll read the Amnesty International article that we have. This is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. This is real, and I think we're at a crossroads, Iskra, in Cuban consciousness, in global consciousness.
I believe this is a historic moment.
I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know that here in Miami, you were here. You came down from like 2 hours, 3 hours away, and you were on your way home, and you turned back. I'm here with my family for Thanksgiving, and we picked up, me and my dad, and we went over to have a little protest just to voice our concerns publicly, right, at the historic Versailles cafe here in Little Havana. Well, not Little Havana, but on 8th Street, Calle Ocho. And
for those that are saying, first of all, some of the people that started the hunger strike couldn't go through the entire strike, and they had to within 24 hours they had to leave, and some of those people were hammered on social media. For those who are talking about those people, I'll tell you what, if you can do it better, you need to do it.
Right. No,
I, I,
these are the same people that tell us, "Oh, but you didn't do anything in Cuba."
and now you're doing it here, but we're doing
Right.
more than you are.
Exactly. And it's like, yeah, but like, where were you when I was in Cuba? You can't tell me that I didn't do anything if you were not around.
But
You're telling me that
but
you would defend me if I did something when I was in Cuba?
and my
No,
point
you
is,
wouldn't.
if you're not going to do anything, just get out of the way.
That's the other part. You wouldn't do anything in Cuba, and I wouldn't do anything in Cuba. But when I do something here, you gotta bring me down and try to make me look bad. You're an
Exactly.
agent, frankly, and you're a piece of poop if you do that.
Exactly. If you
All right,
if you're
just
not going to do anything or say anything positive about those that are doing something, you need to get out of the way and
exactly.
keep your mouth shut. That's how I feel.
Yep. Let's see if you guys can see that. Okay, so this is an Amnesty International article. Cuba, harassment of San Isidro Movement exemplifies ongoing assault on freedom of expression. Zoom in as much as possible here so that it's legible for you guys. November 20th. In response to reports of members of Cuba's San Isidro Movement have been detained, had their human rights, including the rights to freedom of expression and freedom of movement restricted, and been criminalized simply for peacefully exercising their human rights, Erica Guevara Rosas, America's director at Amnesty International, said, quote, "The ongoing harassment and intimidation of members of the San Isidro Movement at the forefront of challenging Decree 349, a dystopian law that stands to censor artists, shows Cuba's ongoing repression of human rights, including the right to freedom of expression in the country. Authorities can continue to harass, intimidate, detain, and criminalize artists and alternative thinkers, but they can't keep their minds in prison," unquote. According to the legal NGO Cuba Lex, between 9 and 19th of November, authorities arbitrarily detained and harassed multiple members of the San Isidro Movement, sometimes more than once. Members of the movement, which is composed of artists, poets, LGBTI activists, academics, and independent journalists, have in recent days been protesting the imprisonment of the rapper Denis Solis Gonzalez. According to information Amnesty International was able to obtain, Denis was detained on November 9 and then tried and sentenced on November 11 to 8 months in prison for contempt, desacato in Spanish, a crime inconsistent with international human rights law. He is now imprisoned at a maximum security prison, Valle Grande, located just outside Havana. No one should be imprisoned for contempt against a public official, a provision of the criminal code that Amnesty International and other human rights organizations have consistently called on the Cuban authorities to repeal, said Erica Guevara Rosas. On November 19th, 8 members of the group were on hunger strike at the San Isidro Movement headquarters in Old Havana in protest over Denis's imprisonment, according to Ana Meli Ramos Gonzalez, an art curator and member of the movement. Images that Amnesty International verified show that at one point the authorities appeared to cordon off the block of the headquarters with yellow tape, limiting the group's freedom of movement. Members of the group said they were under 24-hour surveillance by plainclothes state security officials and feared that they would be detained again if they tried to leave. In March, Cuban artist Luis Manuel Otero Alcántara, a former prisoner of conscience and member of the San Isidro Movement, was imprisoned solely because of his consciously held beliefs and later released. He is among those the authorities have held in short-term detentions in recent weeks, according to Cuba Lex.
I'm getting Sergio. Hi, Sergio. You can join us. Come on into the. We put the link up if you want to join us. I know it's late in Spain, and I've got Sydney. Hi everyone, just arrived from work. Hi Sydney, you can join us anytime. You're more than welcome to. You know you're part of the family. And we'd love to hear from Miguel, from Sergio. You've never joined us before. This is a very interesting topic that we're talking about. Of course, we're talking about the San Isidro movement and everything they're going through. We want the international, and for those of you that just joined us, what we're talking about tonight is basically this San Isidro movement, which is compiled by artists and young artists, and they're a little bit of everything, right? I mean, these are, some of them are even professors, I believe.
Yep.
Correct?
You have, the LGBTI community. You have rappers, like street like rappers. You have
Yeah.
artists. You have college professors, just regular citizens. A little bit of everything, scholars.
And they've come together and they've united into just one feeling, one same feeling. I think that they are feeling the same thing we're all feeling, but they're talking out about it, and now they have been signaled out by the government and trapped into this one area where no one is allowed to either come out or go in, except when they're being thrown things into the house that they're staying in, which is, so I have officially declared, and I will declare it, it's, here in our channel, that if something was to happen, it has been over 48 hours now that the hunger and thirst, that they are holding a hunger and thirst. And if something was to happen to these young Cuban people, I blame it all on the Cuban government completely. This would be complete murder on the government's fault. Because as of today, we got word that the Catholic churches, humanitarian organizations, and some Red Crosses have been trying to get into the facilities, and the government has not allowed for any international organizations to go into the facilities. So as of right now, I am declaring this. If something was to happen to any of these kids, because for me, they're children, I'm almost 50, so they can all be kids, my children. If anything was to happen to them, to these young people that are fighting for our freedom, all of our freedom, all of Cubans' freedom, if something was to happen to them, I blame it 100% on the Cuban government. Hello. How are you, Sergio?
Hello,
Thank
how are
you
you
for
doing?
joining us.
How are you doing? Oh, thanks to you. Sorry because if my English is not the best one, but I'm not a native English speaker, and anyway, I'm a little bit, like not used because I live in Spain. It's been a
I
while
know.
without speaking English like fluently. So,
Well, let me
hi,
explain.
Riquette. It's a
Yeah. The
it's a
reason
pleasure
why we're
to meet you.
doing this,
Hey, hello, brother. Welcome. Good to meet you too, man.
he asked me about you today, Riquette. Just so you know, Sergio, the reason why we felt it's very important to start talking about these Cuban issues in English is because the international communities needs to have all this information in an international language. So
I
we
know, and I
felt,
think it's a very good job, and it's necessary. It's really necessary. It's really important, and even if you start with just a few views, it's very important that you keep doing this because, as you said, the English language is the first language in the world. Is the language everybody talks around the world, all over the world, even in Africa, in Europe, and everywhere. It's the I don't know how to say that in English, but it's the lenguaje vehicular, the interchange in language.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's really
lingua
important that
franca.
you keep
Yeah.
doing this. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really important. It's I know it's maybe stressing. It's hard to get to the point where you want to be, but it's really important that you keep doing it, even if you start with a few people. I know pretty much that if you do this in Spanish, you will have more views, you will have more people watching your videos, you will have more people interested about what you're saying. But I think it's important, and there is a lot of people who are actually doing the same, like Jose Views, like a couple of them. Eco
Yeah,
Marito is
I will leave
doing
it to
something too.
Otaola, Eliezer, Milanés, Umpaku, Chucho,
Could
Liu, Santi
actually could be
Esteban. I
interesting.
mean, Darwin.
No,
Yeah,
actually, could be interesting that if they can come to your channel
mm,
to support you in some kind of way.
Yeah, the issue is that a lot of them don't speak the language,
yeah,
and that's the
stuff.
whole point. It's tough because we need to do this in English. That's the whole point.
I was
Yeah.
thinking because that video that I showed of Omara, I very well quickly with me like doing it part time after work and this morning on vacation, I was able to translate it, to transcribe it in Spanish and to translate it in English with the help of YouTube. That the tool, the studio does it
Yeah,
automatically, like a Google Translate, a very
right,
bad one, and
Yeah, I
then you
know.
have to fix it.
right.
So I was able to
Yeah,
do
you have to
that.
fix the timeline pretty much.
Yeah, and the
Just
spell, and
adjust
sometimes they
the
use
timeline. Yeah.
the wrong word, right? Because so you don't get the right meaning. So I had to fix that. So I could, if they.
It happens more with us because we our slang maybe
Oh no,
sometimes it's
that's
not
something
the
else. I remember when Omara was saying caballito, which means like a little toy, the rocking
to your
horse that
horse.
kids
Yeah.
use.
Yeah,
But a caballito in Cuba is a motorcycle police
motorcycle.
officer, right? So she kept saying that, and it kept coming up. I was like, oh yeah, like a horse, a little horse. I'm like, no, that's not what it means. It's a cop.
So, Riquette, actually, one of the things I have thought of, because what we can do is actually, one of us can interview them in Spanish, and then the other one can translate what the person is saying, or vice versa.
Yep.
It's
I
going to be
think.
like a double interview. Obviously, it's going to take a little longer.
Yeah.
And
But the thing is like we can do the interview live, and then I can translate it after Google listens to it and puts out the subtitles. I can then fix the subtitles, but we're not gonna get if we want to
yeah,
premiere it for
right.
the
The
English
subtitles,
audience, we have to do it before, get the subtitling done, and
to be
then
honest,
premiere it.
I just feel people don't like subtitling as much, because people don't like to read that much. They like to hear.
No,
And
no.
it's
During these days, the people don't like to read anything.
Yeah,
Actually,
man. I mean,
back.
I know. Well, I don't know. I think my generation is pretty much used to subtitles, at least when it comes to foreign movies and things like that, or at least for Japanese stuff, or maybe it's just nerds,
We're not Japanese.
We Cuban are used to subtitles, but
right?
if you come to Spain, you will figure out that they actually don't. They hate subtitles. They
Well, that's
like
because
the
they're
way they.
Spanish, just like the French. They love French stuff. Even if the word never existed in French, they'll make up a new French word because they just make everything French. I think it's in their law even. Uh, but what we could do, I think it would make sense to do subtitles for short clips. We can't do like a 3 hour. I can't do that. I'm not gonna translate that. But if we can get some very short interviews or clips that are very powerful, and then just put some
Mhm.
subtitles to it, I think we can make something happen. And it'll be
Okay.
authentic because it's actually another language, but it's the real people. It's not somebody from here acting or saying something that they haven't lived through. Um, But again, you know, it's
Forget, do you
at
have
the
any
time.
update about the guys, the guys
Yeah, the last
on
update I
MSI?
sent you the last. Yeah,
No.
I actually sent you. Did you see the? I sent you the last update I had. Actually, I put a link in on your.
Messenger?
No, on Miguel's channel. Actually, I was with him when I got the last update. He was on when I got the last update that basically they weren't letting the church in to get any help to them. So
So
we're
they
still at a
blocked the
stand.
church as well, is what you're saying.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
the Nuevo Herald. There's actually I could send you a link. Let me find that link that I had of the newspaper there.
If you can post
That,
the link about it.
because
Can you guys still hear me?
yes.
Okay, because my Chrome seems to be frozen for some reason. So I may come in and out, okay?
Do you have the internet connected by cable or by
Oh
Wi-Fi?
no, Wi-Fi, my friend. Yeah.
If you connect it by cable, you will see that it's the
Way better.
quality. It's it's way better. Yeah,
Well,
because it's
this.
not only the megas. It's not only that. Is the I don't know how to say that in English. Latencia. You know the
The
time,
latency.
the latency. Yeah, it's
Interesting.
reduced like half. It's pretty much what
But
happens.
you,
I
you
was
know
put
trying
it
to
on
do
this.
it by cable.
This
I just
doesn't
put it
happen in
on
If you're
my.
the host, because the hosting it
Uh-huh.
takes
takes away
a
a lot.
big
I'm actually,
what's the technique?
believe it or
Technical
not, I'm
English
actually
is
working
worse.
from my.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm on the road, and I'm actually working from my husband's hotspot from his phone while I'm with you guys. So I just put the link on the private chat,
Okay.
Riken, for you,
Okay.
Well,
which is
my thing is frozen. I can't,
I'm
click on
sorry.
anything else. So I'm gonna go out and come back in. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, and I had put that
I
link
just click it
on your
and
show.
save it on the phone.
Yeah, I had put that link on your show, Canario. It was basically niegan el acceso a diplomáticos y a la Iglesia Católica y los medios de prensa internacionales a la sede de Movimiento San Isidro. It's basically they're denying all access to everyone. That was the latest information we had.
Okay. Let me see. I see here Geraldo Cuba. Geraldo de Cuba. Okay.
Geraldo and Cuba, the Cuba.com, yeah.
Okay. Let me go there.
I'm guessing that they are. That was the latest thing.
It's in Spanish. Let me translate it so I can read it to the people.
Yeah.
Translate the page.
So he's leaving.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, my friend. Okay, so here we go. Share screen. Oh, I wanted to show first. I'm gonna show you guys the picture of the group here.
Yes.
See Omara there in the middle.
Yes.
Luis Alcántara Osorbo.
Now that guy that you're pointing to, he's actually not part of the movement.
Who? This guy here?
Yeah. He actually came in, was it him or let me. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He is part of the movement. There is another gentleman that actually came in on a video. That's not him. I apologize.
Okay.
It looked like
Are you talking about which video?
the one where he went in with one of the influencers.
Uh-huh.
he went into one of the directas. I believe he went in with Chucho and hi Sydney. You're back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Actually, my Wi-Fi it's hard to beat, and I had to change it to the data mobile. But
We
that's what
understand.
happened with Wi-Fi usually.
All right.
Okay.
Let me share the
Hello,
article
Cindy.
you sent me, Iskra. One moment, please. Okay, let's see what it says here. Try to zoom in. Little zoom action. They deny access to diplomats, the Catholic Church, and international media to the headquarters of the San Isidro Movement. That's a terrible Google translation, but okay. So diplomats demanded unrestricted access for all diplomats who want to go and check the status of the activists stationed at the headquarters of the San Isidro Movement. Of course, you have the police, the police ladies with like apparently sexy stockings there.
I don't know where they get those stockings from. I have looked for
I
them
swear to
everywhere.
God.
I don't.
And this is also what they do. They get women oppressors basically to oppress other like women activists so that it doesn't look like men beating women. November 23rd, the international press, some members of the Catholic Church, and several diplomats have tried to reach the SIM San Isidro Movement headquarters without success because the dictatorship in Havana openly prevents them from accessing it. The U.S. diplomats demanded from the Cuban regime unrestricted access for all diplomats who want to go check the status of the activists stationed at the headquarters in Old Havana.
Right.
Espero que la comunidad tenga acceso a restricciones. Okay, so that's
Okay.
actually the U.S. embassy in Cuba tweet.
Yeah.
Okay, I
So
hope that the
Sydney,
international
you're a
community will
health.
have
Yeah.
unrestricted access. Go ahead.
Sydney, as a health specialist, because I know you have a lot of background. It's been 48 hours since some of these uh, kids are in hunger and thirst strike. What are the health issues that they are now starting to feel?
Yeah, I'm super worried right now. Well, first of all, hi everyone. Hi Sergio. Hi Riquet. Hi Iskra. Yeah, I'm super worried because it's been more than 72 hours now for some of them, and especially those ones who are in both hunger and thirst strike. Those are the ones that worry me the most because you can survive up to a month without eating, but without drinking, that's another story. That's a completely different story. I live in Arizona, and as you know, Arizona is a extremely hot place. So we are, and people have the habit to go hiking because we don't have beaches. We don't have much water to go around. People used to go hiking, and they get dehydrated a lot. So it's very very common in Arizona to get dehydrated big time. So right now, I think the most immediate consequence is for them to be, uh, kind of course, they are weak, they are thirsty, but very soon will start the neurological complications. They're gonna be kind of lethargic at some point. They're gonna get lethargic, confused. Uh, the thinking process is going to be impaired very soon. The speaking process is going to be impaired too, because when you don't drink water, what happens, a lot of the electrolytes in your body gets higher than normal because of they get concentrated too much. So that's going to cause neurological issues, and at some point even cardiac issues, hypertension, cardiac arrhythmias. And I'm super worried. I was talking to Jose Daniel Ferrer this morning in his program this morning, and right now time is against us in this situation, and it's the clock is ticking very fast for them. it's I'm super worried. I would like them to reconsider that, and please, my request is to abandon the strike. There are so many ways of fighting. I respect them a lot. I wouldn't do that, not in a million years, because I know the ultimate consequence that can cause. We have a lot of history of hunger strikes in Cuba with fatal results, and the outcomes have been not very good. We all remember Orlando Zapata Tamayo, and recently another dissident that died in prison on a hunger strike. I think we need them more alive than dead. I think the government it's making their way to that because that's gonna be a way to get rid of them. The country is kind of closed. There's not an exodus right now that they can get rid of them. So for them for them to die is gonna be a very good news, and we cannot let that happen. I heard from this afternoon, I heard that a couple of nuns from the Catholic Church and some diplomats, they tried to go there, and the access was denied by the authorities. They couldn't go in, but at least they are making noise, and at least we know now that the church and diplomats are involved. I think that's a good start point. It's not what we want right now, but at least it's gonna be the measure that people all around the world is it's knowing what's going on in here, and that's our only weapon right now for the world to know and the world to make pressure, because the pressure is going to come from the outside, not from the inside. And I would like that situation to get resolved soon, because 7 days, 7 to 9 days are going to be crucial for their survival, and even for permanent damages in their organs, especially kidneys, liver, heart, and brain. So I'm super worried. I repeat it.
Sydney, I don't actually know what's your your title or something, but I've heard that anybody ever has survived more than 7 days.
Well, I
Can you
remember.
can you
I
can you hear me?
remember. Sorry. Yeah, I remember from.
No, that I was saying that nobody can survive more than 7 days without water, without drinking water.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
you can
So,
get up. You can
but you
get
can
up
tell me about it.
to 10 days. That's the top that I know. And it also depends on a lot of factors. It depends on your hydric state before starting the strike. It depends on your physical constitution. It depends on the and this one is the one that worries me the most. Havana is very humid. You sweat a lot. Even in the winter in Cuba, Havana is so humid that all Cuba is humid, but Havana is very close to the Havana city is very close to the ocean, so it's very humid. So that's gonna condition more transpiration and eventually more dehydration. So I would say 10 days is like critical, but between 7 and 9, it's like when it's becoming unreversible. So
Right. I mean, I say much less because honestly, the nutrition malpractice that they have also, we don't have enough nutrition in Cuba. I know that these kids, you see those pictures, they're all skinny. They're not well nutrited. So even
yeah.
before the strike, they didn't have enough nutrition in their bodies to go through a 10-day strike. I'm sure they just don't.
No,
This is
I'm sure they
very
don't.
serious.
They don't have enough reserves right now to strive for more than 6 or 7 days, and especially in those situations without medical supervision. And Yeah, right now, I don't know. This kind of remembers me that time in England where those prisoners they made the hunger strike under the government of what was the name of the female president at that time in England? The Iron Lady. I don't remember her name right now.
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher. And I remember it was
The Iron Woman, the
yeah,
Iron,
the Iron
yeah.
Woman. Yeah, I remember those guys who were on strike at that time. They eventually they died, and it was a very very sad thing to happen. And we don't need more martyrs. We need heroes, but no martyrs. We think we have enough martyrs in our country right now. We need them alive, and right now all we can do is to make some noise, to make our voices heard all around, share everything we
That's
can,
what we're trying to do
talk to
here.
our friends, relatives, everybody, and spread the word. That's all we need to do right now.
I want to say something before leaving. Hi, Jose. Joseph, because here, you're Joseph. I want to say something before I leave because I
I
really
hope
need
if
to
you
go to bed.
yes, yes,
Uh,
sir. You. I
there
know
is
it's
there is
late.
one thing I'm
Please.
worried about. I'm worried about that I've heard just before here because it's a long history. But I have a group and somebody tried to post in my group, Protestant and Live Barrueta, this kind of crap of this kind of lives
You're
these kind of
you're
people give.
fading in and out. You're
So
fading in and out. I don't know.
okay, yeah.
Are you guys
Yeah, it's
hearing?
because my internet.
Okay.
I'm using the data mobile, and then that's
Okay.
why. So I
Okay.
was saying that it's a long history, but I have a group, and I am administrator of a group, and some people try to post these pro dictators posters, these lives, and sometimes I open it to see what's happening, and I've heard in one of them that it's spreading the idea of special forces will go in the San Isidro place. They will take them out by force and take them to hospitals so they don't die in the middle of
Yeah,
this situation. But thing is that with this, and that's another question for you, Cindy, because you are a professional health professional, is what can happen actually if in the middle of this situation with this person, with these people so weak in this condition, if these people who do this kind of interventions are not very prepared to lead with these situations. They are just muscles with sticks. That's all. So is what in which level of dangerous, I don't know how to say this in English, but how dangerous can be this intervention in the middle of the situation they are living now, in the middle of the how weak they are,
yeah,
some kind of this they force the entrance, they take them to hospitals. Do you think their life are in risk if the dictators, if the government make this kind of intervention?
absolutely, absolutely, of course. Um, a severe dehydrated patient is a very critical patient. It's a patient that should be with intensive care. It's gonna be it's gonna be it should be treated by a multidisciplinary team. And right now in Cuba, I can say it because I practiced in Cuba for 15 years, and my specialty is internal medicine. So I can tell you that they have done this before. They did it with El Coco Fariñas at that time when he refused to eat and drink. And one of the complications, if I don't remember badly, one of the complications of El Coco was when they inserted a catheter in the jugular vein
Yeah, they do it
to
here.
yeah, they insert a catheter in the internal jugular vein to provide more fluid and to make easier. So eventually that catheter was one of the worst things that happened to him because it created like a thrombus of blood that was endangering his health. So right now we know how the political police works. They're gonna treat him like scumbags. They're gonna treat him like delinquents. They're
Yeah.
gonna treat him like the worst of society. They're not gonna give them what they really need, what they really deserve. And this is I can I'm worried as well as you are because this is not gonna be what they need to have in order of medical treatment. They're gonna need a very cautious, very detailed, multidisciplinary treatment approach. And I'm sure that they're not gonna have that. They're gonna treat them because if you don't manage well the fluid in your body, either your kidneys or your lungs can collapse, either if it is for defect or excess. So I have the
I'm
same
pretty sure.
concern
I'm
that
pretty
you have,
sure
man.
they won't. I'm pretty sure they won't let them do this like peacefully. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be, violence in this intervention, and that's what I'm worried about because, I fear like a couple of lives now that I pretty much know they collaborate with the regime, and they are spreading this information like a threat, like to try
Yeah,
to
Set people
menace,
yeah, and
up.
I
like
Set
was
people up for
saying
I
what's
was
going to
telling.
happen.
we are going we are going to act if you don't if you
Yeah,
keep
yeah, yeah,
on this, we are going to act, and we are going
yeah, yeah,
to force you to take medical attention. And it's not
yeah.
official, but you know how they work. They
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
throw a
yeah.
ball.
They lose the snowball. Yeah, and I was telling that to my wife last night. It's one of my concerns because they have done it before, and that is we are now talking about another aspect, which is respect to basic rights of a human person. So if you decide that you want to die thirst and hunger, it's your choice. In any developed Western country with laws and respect for the laws and order, that's a right that you have. You have the right to die if you want to die, even if we don't like it. That's a right. So in Cuba, we know we are lacking of those rights for sure. So they feel, in the same way they feel like they can take your phone, like they can go into your house like they did with Dennis without a warrant. They can do whatever they want. Well, this is the same situation. We are not talking about healthcare now. We're talking about basic rights and civilian rights. They don't respect anything. So they can, if they feel that the pressure and if they think that this is going to get worse for the government, they're going to intervene, and they're going to be too weak to oppose, and they're going to take them by force. They're going to force them to take treatment until they get better. They can handcuff
And
them in the gurneys, and they can put treatments against their will. They can do it. They've done it
Sydney,
before.
my last question before I leave, because I really need to leave. The last question is that what can happen if they hit a weak liver, or a weak kidneys, or if they are hidden, they are victim of aggressions, but in critical places of the body with this situation. Can they die by this violence in the middle of this situation?
I think so. I think so. If one of the most sensitive organs right now is going to be the kidneys. The kidneys are the ones who are suffering the most because the kidneys have
The most
have
stress, yeah.
the they have in charge of managing the fluids in their body right now. So right now the kidneys are striving to save the most of the water, not to filtrate the water and expel it out, just to keep it inside, to keep as much as they can keep inside. So the kidneys are under a very lot of stress right now. So yes, they can literally melt. They can literally melt if they are. You can add to that that dehydration causes hyperthermia, so it's going to be fever without an infectious cause. And yes, it can be very damaging. Acute renal insufficiency that can be set in the settings of dehydration. They will put the kidneys in a very stressful situation. And that's another of my concerns too. Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Cindy. Thanks for answering my questions.
Thank
Iskra,
you
I
for
have to leave.
joining us. Of
Bye.
course, of course. I know.
I
Thank you
will
for joining
contact
us.
you I will contact you to make the interview with Riquet.
Of course, of course. Absolutely. Thank you for
Bye,
joining
Hey
us.
guys.
Iskra. Bye,
Yes.
Sergio.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, Iskra, Riquet. I have to leave. I'm working tomorrow early, so I just came in from work.
We
I
understand.
didn't want to go without saying goodbye and hi. But
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for giving us that master, intervenience. You always know exactly what to say, and we are very, very concerned. We're very concerned for
yeah,
their
we are.
health. But I know, when I heard Osorio yesterday, he came on live, and he feels so free, and he basically said, if I die today, I die happy because I know I'm doing the right thing. Those were his exact words.
Yeah, I know, but
And I know we don't want that. None of us want that. We don't want that. And I want them to know that none of us want for them to give up their lives for us.
no. Yeah, I think that's not.
But I understand their feelings, because a lot of us have put our lives on the line in order to achieve that freedom elsewhere. So I understand in a way where he's going when he says, I will die as a free man. And I'd rather die as a free man today than continue to live in agony.
I know.
Those words hit me, they really did.
Yeah, but still, I think that's not the way. But I feel a lot of respect because when you put your life in a line for something that you believe, that's the ultimate sacrifice. And
But hasn't
uh,
that been the sacrifice many of us have done? I mean, didn't my parents put their lives and our lives on the line when they put us all in a little 26-foot boat with 26 people in it, and we were 24 hours at sea? Didn't how many Cubans have died in the Gulf waters looking for freedom? How many Cubans have died in the middle of the jungle finding their ways through freedom? Haven't we all sacrificed? And I understand they're doing the ultimate. For me, they're the ultimate heroes because they didn't do what we did. We didn't stay and fought for everybody. That's what they're doing. And that, to me, that is the ultimate hero. But we also put our lives on the line when we decided to just say, I'd rather do this than stay here in agony. And I think I guess it's a call for for all of us to say, enough is enough. This is it. We're not going to take it anymore. We're done.
yeah,
And we have to stand by that. Thank
it's
you.
very sad.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Jose.
Thank you,
Hey,
Sydney. Take care.
bye. See you.
Jose, if you
Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? We're with San Isidro. We're with the San Isidro Movement. Where we need the rest of the world to make sure that their acts are not in vain. That at least everybody knows what they're doing and why they're doing it for. We are standing up with them because they're just people, like they're artists. They're scientists. There's moms. There's little kids in there. They're not, they don't have any weapons. They just have signs, dances, and honestly a big spirit of freedom. That's all they have, and a lot of striving to get their word out and to ask for liberty for those around them. They're not even doing it for themselves, because honestly they're not trying to gain. They're not doing it to gain a visa or to gain some money out of out of someone. They're doing it for a cause that most of us don't have the courage to, or didn't have the courage to do. So we need the world to understand that and to join them and to pray for them and to also support them in any way we can. And right now, the best we can do is make sure that everybody knows who they are, what they do, and why they're there until they make the decisions they have to make. We hope that they are alive. We don't need them dead. We need them alive. Actually, we need people like that. We need to always preserve them. But they're also fighting for freedom, and part of freedom is making their own decisions, and that's what they're doing. So let's hashtag everybody, and we need any person who doesn't know about this, who runs across this video. Like the name of the video describes itself. It's an act of courage by free people trying to get freedom for people. So let's pass those hashtags around, and let's send them to the UN, to the Pope, to the President, to everybody who we can think of.
I agree, Jose. We need to get these. Can you put? Can you? Okay. I agree, Jose. We need to get this out to the world. We need to. That's what we're doing this video today. We need to get this word out to everyone. I actually tagged them in the video, and I hope that they're watching this tonight, because we also want them alive. We don't want them dead. And even though we understand what they're fighting for, because we do, and I believe that they're fighting for every single one of us, not just the Cubans inside. They're fighting for everyone's freedom, because even those of us that are outside, we're still prisoners, because our families are in there, and they have our families prisoned inside. And a lot of us that have decided to speak out, like myself, and like a lot of you that have decided to be public about what we're feeling, we're unable to go back.
Yep. I know I can't go back.
I have tried.
My mom is pissed because she's probably gonna get in trouble if she does. So she's not going back either. So yeah.
The last time I went, I knew I was never going to be able to go back, because I was kept for 3 hours in the police station.
Yep.
So so they're retaining our family members. They're retaining. So basically, even though we're out, we're still prisoned.
Yeah.
They still have us. So they're not fighting just for the people inside. They're fighting for all Cubans. This is what they're fighting for, is what we all want. Every single one of us.
That's right.
And let that sink into people. Pretty much when we say that we are, many of us are not going to be allowed to go back in, that means that we're pretty much this earth from the place we were born at. That means that we cannot go to the place we were born, that our origin of nationality, we cannot go back. I mean, it's something that happens with the worst of the worst in this planet. I mean, that doesn't happen. That's not a regular thing. That's not, something that. I mean, we are very high spirits, and we laugh about our way of humor is to deal with our with our struggles. But it means that they really are we have no origin. Is what they're trying to take away from us.
Yep. Mr. Plaza de Marte, do you want to say anything? Wait. Speak again.
Yes, Minister. Say hello.
Hi.
I congratulate all of you because finally I found a platform where I can see people speaking in other languages different from Spanish. Because as I've been saying for days so far, we need this. We need that the message, okay, go around the world, all around the world, or in all languages possible. Okay?
Right.
And to express my unconditional support to the people in the San Isidro Movement. And I also want to say that talking about what the doctor was saying, I was listening attentively what the doctor was saying. And let me tell you something. I don't believe they're gonna let him die. They're not gonna do that. Believe me. Okay, what they try to do is break their will. They want to break their will. It's an old trick that the government in Cuba, I mean the Seguridad del Estado. Let me say it in Spanish so everybody can say what I'm talking about. They want to break their will. That's all. Okay, and traumatize them enough. So when they come out of this, they're gonna be
tactic. Yeah, it's a torture. It's a basic torture
tactic.
There
you go. You say it right. You say it right. Okay, it's a torture. But they know the whole world is watching. Okay, and it's good. I hope they understand that if one of these young people die, they're gonna lose a big battle. It's sad. This is so very sad, man. I'm suffering for these people. Believe me.
I am too. Actually, we were me and my husband. We were celebrating our 10th year anniversary in Florida this weekend. We were up in Fort Pierce, and when we heard about the Versace, everyone was getting together there. We decided to drive back. We were driving back home, and we decided to drive down to Miami. We needed to be there because anyway, we weren't enjoying ourselves. The entire weekend we've been just hearing the news and being a part of this. We just can't get it out of our minds. And if you weren't listening at the beginning of our program, I actually declared that if something was to happen, and I hope not, but if something was to happen to any one of these people, I declare that this is 100% on the Cuban government, and it's 100% murder.
Yeah,
and I want the world to know this.
Actually, they're murderers. Okay,
yeah.
Don't forget. That's what I've been doing for 60 years now, killing people in all different ways. I also want to ask you a little question, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Have you opened an account in the new platform called Parler?
We are actually part of Somos Más, which is
I know you are part of Somos Más. I see. I'm a follower of. Yes, and I saw you talking a lot of time there.
Yes.
By the way, I take this opportunity to congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But my question is, do you have an account in Parler?
We just have a Somos Más account, and we transmit everything.
Parler.
It's another social media. Yeah.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. He's saying Parler. Yes, I do have a Parler account, and you can find me with my name on Parler and all social medias. You can find me with my name. Yes, I do have a Parler account.
Yeah, let me tell you this. Some people don't know what's coming after this.
Yes,
Let me tell you. if Biden, listen, is sick in a White House, you're gonna have to leave this boat and look for an island to, you know. Believe me, the censorship will be so cruel and so hard. Okay, it's important that we start. By the way, Paula, I don't know if you read the statute. The politics is no censorship in any way and for no reason. Okay, thank you very much for taking me behind
No,
me,
thank you.
and
Thank
I
you for
congrats,
coming.
and I continue.
We are
following you.
on.
Thank you,
We
sir.
will. We are on every Sunday every Monday at 8 o'clock.
Monday,
Mondays at 8 o'clock. Sorry, every
Monday or
Monday at
Sunday
8 o'clock.
Monday.
Mondays at 8 p.m.
and Sunday.
No.
No, no Sunday. Sunday
Oh,
is Jose views is on Sunday,
just
right,
So
Sunday.
Jose?
Tuesdays,
I mean,
Tuesdays,
just
Tuesday
Monday.
days,
Thursday. Okay, you're a Thursday. Sorry. No,
Tuesday.
no Sundays. Only we are on Mondays. Mondays
Okay.
at 8 p.m. You will see us every
My heart
Monday.
is with you. Okay.
Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very much.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye bye.
God bless.
Hey,
Bye
guys.
bye, sir.
It's
Okay.
about to be 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yes, I know. It's been. Where did you go? You left me here all by myself, hanging.
I'm in the background. You're a great hostess, Iskra.
I see
So,
that.
I think it
Jose,
works.
I think it does, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Jose. Thank you for
All right, see
joining
you
us.
guys. And
We'll
SOS,
see.
San Isidro. Thank y'all for doing this. Awesome.
Likewise, my
Anytime.
friend.
You're always part of our family now.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it. Thank you
man.
for
I'm one
letting
of
me
your
always.
subscribers, brother. So I'll show up one of these days on one of your streams, man.
Please, we'll do an interview. We did one with Iskra, turned out great. So
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, man. For sure.
Alrighty.
Bye, guys.
All right, everyone. Take care. Thank you for tuning in. And have a great night and a happy Thanksgiving. And